Well, today in our KTV lab, we are making towers.
Yes.
It's exciting.
Very exciting.
Now, the instruments we are using today is marshmallows and spaghetti.
Thank you, Cooper.
Thank you, Cooper.
He does love spaghetti.
He did really blend us his spaghetti.
Yeah.
Yeah, we should give it back to him after we're done.
Yeah.
Unless he doesn't want it. Oh well.
Anyway.
Okie dokie. So, our goal today is to make a tower that can withstand us shaking these boards. So, let's see how we go.
Yeah. I'm intrigued because normally marshmallows and spaghetti do not make for strong materials of any description.
No.
So.
Unless you're making toasted marshmallows.
Ooh, yeah. Maybe we should do that afterwards.
We really should.
We should. Okay, let's get started.
Okay.
You know what? Actually, I reckon while we're making these, I think this low-key reminds me of a story of. Have you heard of Deborah in the Bible?
I have. She's pretty cool.
Yeah, she's really cool. You can read about her if you haven't read her story in the book of Judges. She was a leader and a ruler. Well, not really a ruler, but she was like a ruler back when Jerusalem didn't really have kings yet. They still were just sort of leaning on people who listened to God to lead them. And so Deborah was one of those people. So she would be like a judge. So like we have judges these days with courts and people go to them to like settle disputes or figure out who's right and who's wrong. Deborah was kind of like that too, but back for the ancient Israelites. So she would be someone who people would come to with questions.
You're not really doing a good job.
And think at the same time. So I'm just going to get a different one. Anyway, so people would come to her with questions or disputes or arguments, and they'd be like, Deborah, what do we do? Or Deborah, who's right and who's wrong? Or Deborah, this person like stole from me. And she'd be like, are you lying? But in order to try and figure out the truth or what would be a wise response or what people should do, Deborah didn't just answer them on the spot. She would then go and ask God for his opinion and his thoughts. And so whenever she gave the people advice or whenever she tried to answer or help them with their problems, she wouldn't just be using her own wisdom and knowledge. She'd be first using the wisdom and knowledge that she got from God after spending time with him and listening to his voice.
That's a very good idea.
Yeah, right? And so it meant that because she did that, she had really wise, smart, helpful things to say because she wasn't just using human knowledge, she was listening to God's voice and what he would want the people to do. So she was very highly respected amongst the people because she gave really wise advice, and because she was listening to God's voice, she was saying things that were actually helpful as opposed to just like something that might have been kind of helpful but not really.
Yeah, Deborah.
Yeah, I know, it was really cool. But the fact that she was willing to go to God first and like take a bit of time to figure out the solution, like, it's really impressive because how often these days is it easier for us just to quickly answer something,
right?
And then go, oh wait, maybe I should have gotten some help. Yeah, that's a bad idea. But sometimes we just go ahead and do stuff or make decisions ourselves. Whereas Deborah was someone who prioritized listening to God. I don't know what I'm doing here.
What are you doing here?
Cool. Yeah, so that kind of reminds me of this in a way because, I mean, Deborah was unlike this tower. She was a very stable person. Like, she was someone that people could rely on, that when storms were coming or when they were like really uncertain going, what's going on? They could rely on Deborah because they knew that because she was listening to God, the advice and the wisdom she gave would actually be wise and would actually be helpful.
That's so good.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
So, to recap, Deborah trusted God and used God's wisdom to help all of Israel.
Well, yeah. All
That's so good.
Yeah.
You know what? I think we can do the same thing, trusting in God's wisdom to help us with our day-to-day life. Yeah. So, essentially, today's bottom line is trusting God. We need to trust God to help us make wise decisions.
Yeah.
So, trusting God helps us to make wise decisions.
Yeah.
How good.
So good.
So good. Should we test our towers?
Yeah. Well, what there is. Oh, yours looks so good.
Thank you.
Okay, let me move these so we can shoot.
Oh, yes. Good idea.
You ready?
I've got my triangle base.
I have my whatever this is. And
Ready?
3,
2, 1.
Wow, that's impressive.
Yay!
You must have been listening to God's wisdom.
I really was. Yeah. Or I just listened in silence.
I do.
Okay. Have a good day.